Hello, friends. Today I have not done much. I read the Bible alongside doing the Joshua's Law course, which is required and takes way too long. It is currently running right now, and anytime the required limit of reading the page goes out, I go to the next page because the past 15% of the course has been about drugs, and oh my lord, I get it. I'm not going to do drugs and I'm not going to drink. I do not need to know that doing this drug does that, and doing cocaine alongside methamphetamines is going to, yeah, I know it's going to screw you up, and I don't need to know that. Aside from that, I discovered I sing House of the Rising Sun quite well. Today's song addiction has been Panama by Van Halen. That song I do not sing very well. In terms of a topic to talk about, I don't have much really. I've been kind of adding on to a series of anger, but that's finished now. So, let me think for a moment. Oh yes, I am not going outside today because rain and thunder. Thankfully, my sister is not coming home tonight, so I will be able to sleep in peace. Oh, that time should be up by now. 30 seconds, right. I swear the time passes so slowly on that thing. Makes you think it's like, oh, it's been like 10 minutes, and it's only been 1. It's like, oh my goodness, how did that happen? So fascinating. Any fun facts that I learned today? No. You may have noticed if you go to my channel, that my 3 sections, my main content, Beyblade content, and gaming content, there is 1 slot missing in the main content. Now, I was initially going to hold this out and then put Bible-related content in there, and I could make a playlist with a little bit of Bible-related content, but it wouldn't have much, and it's not that important. I'm thinking of maybe 1 daily fact sort of thing. So every day I look up a random object or incident and just report on it. Of course, there are many channels who do that, but of course, by adding another one into the mix, it will be another 1 random channel that you could subscribe to and get something you hopefully have not seen from the other channels about. And it, of course, will be low quality. There will be no animations or drawings, and probably not even cuts, but maybe I will even make a script if I was to be so professional to do that, which I do not typically do. Yeah, there we go. Arrow. What is the following example of gateway drugs? Gateway drugs is a drug that leads to other drugs, so, not sure actually. Alcohol is a gateway drug. Okay, cool. Yes, alcohol is one of the reasons why some people, true. Boom. Now I gotta wait 1 minute and 12 seconds. Some of these have absurdly long timers that go far beyond the reading time of the page, or you can read the page 7 times over. 7, ironic. 7 is a number frequently mentioned in a certain book somewhere. I have no clue what kind of book it's mentioned in, but yeah, no, just some book. So, or rather, the book. Ironic. But anyways, yeah, so I don't have much to talk about. I could think of a topic, but what topic is there? Right now, I believe, yeah, it would be lovely. Of course, I get practically no comments on my video, maybe 1 comment every 2 or 3 weeks, which is really unfortunate, because I would just love to know why people watch my content. Because of my voice, because of the knowledge, because of the entertainment. I'm pretty sure it's only one of those 3. It's either they enjoy what I have to say, they enjoy my voice, or they like learning when it is useful, which is one reason I've created the Useful Walk and Talks playlist, because it would be annoying to watch every walk and talk just to listen for some sort of useful information and realize there is none. So I've made a playlist with some that actually have something that's worth hearing. But there is a way I could eliminate all of those, really, of course. See, if I talked in a really annoying voice, and I said nothing informational at all, like this video has, and this video said nothing informational, really. At least nothing that should apply to you, logically. And, well, of course, this voice is somewhat humorous, so if I just do, like, a normal voice, that's kind of annoying. And then, like, drag out my letters. Oh, yeah, vocal fry. People hate vocal fry. So if I just give, like, a little vocal fry to my voice, it's really annoying. And then if the video has nothing informative, and I'm not trying to entertain, and I say nothing even mildly entertaining, then why would anyone watch that except to like keep up on my life if they actually cared about me personally? But who actually cares about me personally aside from my family? No one really. Oop, timer. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, like, and I was like, I can go to a great extent, but I think the more annoying my voice, the more entertaining it can be considered if you can deal with it. So if you can deal with the annoyingness and the cringe of this voice, you might find it funny. Or you're actually like just insanely flamboyant and you don't find this voice annoying at all. But if you do, then you should be considered normal. But of course, let's return back to the normal voice because that one is extremely happy as it would be used in the 1960s. One of the synonyms for happy. Yes. And very, very, well, a term that means amazing. Starts with an F. But, on another note, recently I got these earbuds, so they block some noise, and they're quite cool. There's little circular parts, there's like an earbud here, and the circular parts kind of fill the circular part of your ear, and they work quite well. Arrow's gone up, so, alright. According to statistic provided in the course of the following are the most likely to try first. Alright, let's find out. Alright, using alcohol, really. But see, I don't really need to know this, because other parts I paid attention to and memorized, but, you know, I'm not gonna be doing drugs. I do not need hours upon hours of education on drugs. Drugs are bad. I will not do them. I will not drink. Dear Lord. And I probably won't ever do caffeine. Perhaps one day. But right now, I find it to smell disgusting, taste disgusting. It has negative side effects. And just no. Because I don't get tired. And if I ever do get tired, exercise, determination, other methods of energization, I don't think I need caffeine for that. And really, caffeine is addicting as well, so it's not very ideal to take caffeine. Caffeine, what a lovely thing to fear. That is a reference to one of my writings, which I very highly doubt anyone will get. The only person who might understand it is one of my friends on Discord who have read all of my writings, but I highly, highly, highly doubt they have read the one I just referenced, and that especially that they memorized it. Though you may go searching for that term that I just mentioned. I just cleared my voice, so now I can't quite replicate what I was just doing there. Unfortunate. So, of course, I could shift my accent to something else. Oh. Isn't it lovely to do anything you want to do with your voice? Voices are fascinating. Well, given this video has really just been a mild mix of entertainment and voices for entertainment. Sort of filler stuff. I suppose I will go on a tangent on voices. I have done it before, but you may not have heard them, or you just don't care and you want to hear me talk because, yes, you do want to hear me talk. Who knows why? But first, let me do this question. Can it include no? Yes, obviously. Gotta love those funny answers. 1 minute and 12 seconds to read that. I could read that in 20 seconds. And 30 to 40 seconds if I wanted to comprehend it. But anyways, so, voice. First of all, you have to understand how air molecules work. So air molecules are floating in the vacuum of space. Now, they actually make up a very, very small percentage. I believe 0.3%. I may be wrong on that. But of the space all of the air around you breathe in. Most of it's just vacuum, but part of it is air, and air is oxygen and some other gases, but primarily oxygen. If you breathe pure oxygen, it's actually poison. I haven't learned about why that is. I suppose I should. But anyways. So yes. And air, they're very close together. It's not like air molecule here and here and here and here. It's like air molecule here and 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 here. And the air of the kingdom. Anyways. Yes, they're everywhere, really. So it's really a ton, all really close together, except there's just even more vacuum between them, but the vacuum part, that's not necessary. So, they're just floating around. I actually don't know why they do that either. Well, oh goodness, I gotta look into that too. Oh well. Probably buoyant voices, but I'm not sure. Voices? I don't think it's buoyant voices. But anyways, yes, they're just floating around, and this contributes to many things like aerodynamics, but sound is a large one. Of course, sound can travel through any medium. Like when I speak, you can hear through the door. It's traveling through the door, traveling through the wall, traveling through the curtain, the glass, the fan. It's traveling and bouncing off of and going through everything. So, there's 3 things you could do. You may know this by now. You can hit an object, bounce off of it, bounce off. That's how resonation works. That's why echoes happen. It goes, and then it comes back. So you say, somebody farted. Somebody farted. Because it comes back to you. Some of it absorbs. It goes in, and it stops. That is how foam works. Basically a bunch of cones made of foam. It goes in, and there's so many places to bounce around. It just kind of goes around in there and stops. And then it can go through. It's very thin, like this curtain. You speak, and it's out, then it just kind of passes through the air molecules in between them. Sort of like quantum tunneling, but on a macro scale. Now, because they're so close and they bounce around, you can vibrate these things. And by vibrating them, what you do, as there's a sort of voice put in your throat, and you vibrate it. It goes like up and down very fast to make the sounds like ooh and ee. Of course, if you know anything about linguistics, you know that the mouth and the tongue, everything in the mouth, the tongue, the lips, the teeth, that is what forms sounds. For instance, a V sound, V, is by connecting the lower teeth to the top lip. If you tried to make the sound in any other way, it'd be very difficult. A T sound, T, is by putting your tongue to the top of your mouth and quickly releasing it, kind of making a suction. T. If you tried to do this with your teeth, you can't really do that. So it's mainly there, but if there was just air sitting there and no air coming through your throat, like if I was suffocating right now, if I pinch my throat, if there's no air coming through, then it's really hard to create sounds. So you can make, p, d, k, just things that move the air around in your mouth. But if you want to make sounds like, I'm not moving anything in my mouth, it's just vibrating and the air is coming out. So, how does that happen? Basically, it pushes into the air molecules in the throat, which pushes into that air molecule, which pushes into that air molecule, and there, and there, and there. And it comes out, and it vibrates things. Which is why if you scream into a very light speed... Oh, arrow, hold on. Like a very light speed of paper, it may move it. Rationalization is a good coping mechanism that involves limiting reasons to type it. No. So, yes, it vibrates the air. And that is why very, very big sounds like guns go boom, and the shockwave makes boom. And guess what? That's also how bombs work. The boom is so strong that it pushes the air molecules so fast into you that the air molecules hit you and you die. Or you don't die, but something really bad happens to you. That is also what damages your eardrums. So, hearing. After this, I will get into the how language works. But hearing is very, very fascinating. I think the concept of this is brilliant. So just based on how those air molecules, whether the molecule goes this fast, or the wavelength is this long, or the amplitude is this high, or the shape of the wave is like this or like this, just based on those tiny little changes. And obviously the waves aren't literally waves like we interpret them, they're just air molecules bouncing around. But somehow you can determine the sound of an object so precisely to tens of thousands of objects. You can tell whether a PVC pipe is this long or this long, just based on what it sounds like when it bounces. It's amazing, because there's this little thing in your ear, and basically, it's tiny little hairs on it, it vibrates a very tiny amount, and when the air molecule hits it, it vibrates just a little bit, and that sends a signal to your brain to give you the sensation of sound. So, when I do this, you probably inferred it was this sound. And you could just tell it was that sound. There are a couple other things that could imitate the sound very closely, or even exactly, like this. But that was deeper. If I hold the pillow up, that is quite similar. So yes, it depends on the material and really every property about it, the mass of the material, the momentum, the velocity of the impact, everything. But you can accurately determine the material and what kind of thing hit it. You can tell that like a car fell into water, or just a large object in general. You can tell that a rock hit water just based on how it sounds. And that is insane, because it's just making the force which moves the air molecules, which hits your ear, which makes you understand what it is, and that's insane. Yeah, okay, sure. Fun. 22 minutes. Yeah, okay. Cool. So, yes, it is very fascinating. And I also looked up today why your ears ring after a loud sound. And as I thought, it basically is just so loud, the thing that vibrates this much, and that screws up your brain, and then you go, ow, oh my god, and it's like freaking out and sending signals to your brain, like, oh my god, something's out, and then it rings, and then that's what that does. Kind of like pain. The way when something's wrong, it signals your brain. So, hey, you hurt yourself there. Take care of that part, otherwise it might get more damaged or infected. That's why pain is a thing. Although I don't know why pain is so severe. It's kind of annoying. But oh well. Probably God's plan. Same thing with your hearing. Loud sound happens, your hearing is damaged. So your brain's like, hey, look, loud ringing sound because something's wrong. Treat that, please. It is painful. It is not good. Still haven't quite understood how smell works. Smell is very interesting. So yes, now, language. I found language quite interesting, because the way language works is really just we vibrate our throats and shape our mouths in certain ways to manipulate the air to make certain wavelengths come out. And based on the wavelengths that come out, you can understand what they mean. I'm speaking American English. Now, even with an accent on, you can still understand what I'm saying. So even if I speak the words like this, or if I speak the words like this, or if I speak the words like this, you still understand what I'm saying. And that is insane. Because while the exact sounds to make the words have to be specific. For instance, if I were to say that, I'd say Mustang. If I said Mustang, you'd have to figure out what I was trying to say. If I'd said Mustang, it'd be hard to hear. If I said Mustang, you'd have no clue what I was saying. So you have to have just the right amount of words in just the right places and just the right ways. And in some languages like Mandarin, it's really hard because they have tones. So E are all different tones, which mean different things. I don't know how that works with like the pitch of your voice, or if you have like a speech impediment. Must suck being there, but thankfully I'm not. I speak English, good old American English. So yeah, and even though those sounds have to be just right to make the right sounds, you can still make it out, even if they're super varied from accent to accent. Now, if it's a Scottish person speaking English, then you got actually no clue what they're saying, because Scottish people, when they speak English, it's like, I speak Scottish, and it's like, what the hell are you saying, man? Now, most people say French is the funniest accent, but I think Scottish people, their accents are hilarious. No offense, Scottish people, I love you, your anthem is awesome, you bagpipes. Go bagpipes, Scotland forever. But yeah, there's accents and Irish, of course. I love the way Irish people say the word Irish. It is funny. Irish. I'm Irish. Irish. yeah. Accents are funny because it's just you say things in certain ways, Now, one thing, every time I talk about accents, I gotta mention this. Now, of course, cartoons are not realistic or really any fiction. But in a bunch of movies, you will see body swapping happen, souls swap. So kid gets dad body, dad gets kid body. And the voices come with the souls. But no, you would have the voice of the throat that is there. Because wide means big. But if you constrict your throat, it's higher-pitched. That's why really small things in fiction, if they're correctly portrayed, have higher voices. Because if it's in a tiny hole, it's higher-pitched. I don't know exactly why that is, honestly. But that's also why giants have really deep voices. Though, if a giant were actually the size of, Empire State Building, and he made a sound really loud, that vibration would probably destroy things and potentially kill humans. He can clap his hands to kill them. I don't think there would be much easy communication, and I don't think his ears would be able to interpret what humans are saying. But obviously, when you get to macro and micro scales, things get really weird. Like bugs are actually just swimming through the air. They're not really flying through the air, so... But that's a whole other thing to get into. At the human scale, we're humans. And obviously some humans like Shaquille O'Neal are big one. Some, like toddlers, are small one. But, scale's a cool thing. Scale's a fun thing to think about. Because everything is the scale of the world, from a Planck length to the observable universe, really. It is fascinating, because even as a child, nowadays, as a child especially, it's hard to comprehend that things are made of atoms that are really held together, because you think, so if they're all just really tiny things held together, then why is it not I can just break through this easily? How? They're bonded that strong, and the energy and forces involved are insane. Though ironically, I can understand quantum physics quite well. I can understand atomic bonds quite well, and chemical properties, though I really struggle to understand angular momentum. Angular momentum is a very weird property. I can understand the general idea of it, but, man, it is very, very complicated. Every time I'm presented with an angular momentum idea, it's like, oh, goodness, here it comes again. Centrifugal forces, all those things. Oh, no, don't do it to me. I cannot withstand. And I'm trying to... I still barely wrap my head around how, like, the further part of the mass is spread out, it's the same momentum as if you pull it in. That's why, if you pull your arms in, you go faster when you're spinning. But, like, I think it's because, like, the more force it takes to move your arms, and due to inertia, it's trying to resist that change. So when you pull your arms in, it's easier to keep that... Goodness gracious. I am taking physics next year. Hopefully the math will be on the lower end, but I'm fine with a little bit of math if it mainly involves the physics, because I do want to understand physics. I'd like to have a decent understanding of physics, quantum physics, engineering, all those fields, because as I've mentioned before, the greater you understand the world, the better. A little bit of Ecclesiastes would beg to differ, but, Ecclesiastes is a strange book in the Bible. Now, one thing I think everyone should strive to do is learn, really. Learning in general. I mean, look at my, if you go to my channel banner, you could see learning is involved. Striving to learn is very good. As I have mentioned in one of my recent videos, if you have the determination and the will and freedom to do something, but you don't have the knowledge, you can't do it. And if you have the knowledge to do something, but not the will or the freedom or the determination, you won't do it. Now, obviously, won't do it is better than can't do it, because can't means you cannot. But one thing you can do is acquire the knowledge to do it. In that case, you can do it. In that case, if you have the determination, you will do it. But if you don't have the determination, then, trying to get determination is typically harder than learning. But if it's a matter of whether or not you feel like building a rocket versus learning rocket science, then obviously learning rocket science is probably a little bit harder than getting over your slight laziness. But everything really determines. It depends, not determines. Weird. I forgot that spot is blue, and I don't know why. Probably due to a marker when I was a child. It's weird how rarely I notice it. Pretty nice Firebird right now. Next year it will be a Cougar Eliminator. Nice. Good for that. Unfortunately, many of the cars on the calendar are modified. It's like, really? Don't modify classic cars. Either keep them in condition, restore them to where they were before, or keep them rustic. Even a rusty, beaten down car has the value of age. It shows the age, and that's truly magnificent. Some may find it ugly, but I like it. But don't change it. Applying a coat of paint it did not have before. It's like, well, you made it different now, didn't you? It's like plastic surgery. It is still the same person. They sort of have the same face, but you changed it a little bit, but it's not the same anymore. It's unfortunate. This has been surprisingly long for a relatively uneducational video. There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know. Those are my 3 stretches. So you got bending down, touch your toes, obviously. Now that one splits. So, I will place you directly beside my head. Now, I'm going to lower down to splits. Okay, so this is standing. It's actually probably easier if you can tell where it is if you see something closer up. There you go. Now I'm going to do the splits as low as I can without supporting and not bending my legs. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay, yep. It's better than it was before. And that's leg lifts, because you see, thing is, trying to lift your leg out to the side, I have this cramp in my gluteus maximus that happens. Oh. And I'm not sure if it's normal, like muscle fatigue, or something's actually wrong back there. But it's good to have that lift, for one, just because flexibility is good. Two, when you're climbing and trying to do like a really high hold, try to get your knee up and then it cramps, and it's like, ah. And then three, of course, higher kicks. Oop, okay, and kind of bent my toes the wrong way, cramped them. That happens sometimes. Oop, nope. Gotta keep that timer running. FBI anti-piracy warning. I'm not sure anyone's gonna be pirating a driver education course, but alright. You do you, FBI. You do you. Those courses have been pretty interesting. Telling you, like, you're not allowed to honk your horn just because you're mad at someone or if they're going too slow at a light. Only in emergency situations. Actually, only in emergency situations are you allowed to honk your horn. Otherwise, you're not supposed to do it. It should only be used in very dire and urgent circumstances, in which honking your horn would alert another driver of your presence or the immediate danger, and they must bring it to their attention. So you may not honk your horn simply because someone is waiting at a light and you are desperately trying to go through just seconds faster. And you may be annoyed that they are attending to their phone and the social lives in this little box more than they are tending to everyone else around them, as that is how driving should be done. But unfortunately, they're idiots, so that's not what is going to happen, and they will be a-holes, and they will sit at the light. Now, don't fret, because this is how the entire world works. If you freak out over every little instance, you will be a madman. Imagine a man who complained about everything annoying in the world. Oh, wouldn't he be annoying? Now imagine a man who had a breakdown at everything annoying in the world. He would be dead. Because yes, more stress means you die faster. That is why the longest living woman in the world, supposedly, just dropped out of school, didn't have a job, I'm pretty sure, and she just drank Coca-Cola and smoked cigarettes all day, and she was fine, because no stress. If you have no stress at all, your brain does a lot better. So, if you're stressing all the time, you're gonna die. Sure, and sometimes you even have a heart attack or something. Stroke, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a barber. Bubba. So you shouldn't stress over everything, really. You should stress over nothing, hopefully. Because if you think about it, stress is a hormone. It's called a stress hormone. I'm not sure what the hormone is exactly by scientific terms. But it's to make you realize, oh, this is dangerous, focus. Though, ironically, stress makes you tremble and makes you not focus sometimes and freak out, which is not ideal. Some people more than others. But in a logical aspect, if you could choose having stress versus not having stress, if you truly did think very often and you understood the situation, you understand the severity of it, then the most logical thing ought to be stress whether or not you could do it. It would be to do the most you can. If you don't do the most you can, you're lacking. And if you do the most you can, even if you can't get everything done, you do the most you can. There's something you could have done to fix that. And if there is a thing you could have done to fix that, then okay. If you probably would have done that if you were truly thinking. So you don't really need to stress out. Stressing is bad. Can you add a single day onto your life by worrying? Oh, what verse is that? Is it in... I cannot recall. This is my document of verses to find where it is. Alright, it is in Perseverance. No. Okay, is it not here? It's a Wisdom. Oh, right, Wisdom. Control F, worry. Alright, Matthew. I thought it was Matthew 6:27-34. Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble for its own. Now, as mentioned, this applies to not just the next day or hour, but every moment. You need not worry. Planning is good, and preparing is good, but worrying is not good. It stresses you out. It is negative. So, therefore, do not stress. Now, this does bring up an interesting topic. I've recently been thinking, due to one specific person, who I will not mention, how does attraction truly work? I know about the biological aspect of it, better fertility makes you more attracted, and it makes your brain go into overdrive to realize this is an important situation, you should try to get with this woman, and it even overrides logic if, they have a partner. And of course, positive attraction, if you've seen people who do these things, who look good, or look a certain way, then you'll naturally associate people who look like that with these positive things. But how is it that a person, if it's whether positive association or not, and whether fertility or not, and whether survivability or not, how can they look just a certain way, so good to where being in the room just makes your heart beat, makes you tremble, and makes you just different, you know? How can that be? What is it about that person that the eyes just this way, the nose just this way, the lips that way, the teeth that way, the face and the hair, everything is arranged just that way. That just makes you go, oh, goodness gracious, and looking into their eyes is just something else. As David Bowie says, if you could look into my eyes, not sway, under the moonlight, the serious moonlight. Let's Dance by David Bowie. So yes, looking into the eyes, it brings you down, or up, really. As I've written, let me read this off real quick, just for fun. Let's go to my, what is it called, Dreams document. So, the first thing added to this document is called Nothing Else. Now, let me get a drink of water before I read this, because my voice is getting quite dry here. Yeah. All right. What voice do I want to use for this one? Not Southern for sure. This one seems a little too abrasive. I'm trying to remember. Is this the soft voice I use? I think it is, but I don't think it's exactly it. It's hard to know. But anyways, Nothing Else. Written by me. Oh, let me give you ambiance. Hold on. Let me put you to the outside. Because, it's called nightfall, so it's suiting. Alright. Nope. Okay, the curtain's in the way. Hold on. I can't really... Alright, well... Okay. So, nightfall. Nothing else. Nightfall. Night being the absent with the slimmest glare of the water reflecting the moon overhead. Sitting next to the creek with you on the dock. A slight sound of crickets off in the distance. Just sitting here with you, holding a hand at rest by your side. No words uttered, yet 1,000 thoughts upon my mind. So simultaneously known as I cannot think. All that there is you, and I'm overwhelmed by your presence, only being it no more. It's amazing. I feel useless, like nothing in this vast plane of love with you. And your brilliance takes over my mind entirely. Yet if I choose to let it control me and think about it, I will surely faint. So I'm at an equilibrium, between so much Between so much emotion I can't understand and blocking out every thought. This chaotic mess of feeling where I'm simply stunned by what to do, sitting here with you. On the outside I'm at rest, but inside I'm panicked. Then I say a mere few words to the many I'm thinking. I love you. As you lean over and hug me, then all my thoughts go empty. I'm flushed with both joy and sadness, heart beating yet relieved more than ever. And to escape this chaos and embrace you, I clear my head. Now there is only one thing at this moment. Not the sound of crickets, nor the water or moon. Just you. So that is the first romantic... I'm not sure what term it is, actually. It's not necessarily a poem. Is it free verse poem? I don't know what to be considered. But yes, I do believe it's quite good. But the main aspect of that was the descriptive terms regarding how you feel. When you look into this person, again, I won't mention, but really, it makes your mind go blank and you don't know what to think and you don't know what to do, and it's just like, oh, goodness gracious, I don't believe this is because my brain subconsciously thinks you're a good partner, or you're good traits with survivability, or you're fertile, or I've associated you with more positive figures. I practically have no one in my life, so I don't even have anyone to associate you with. So how is it that you can just look a certain way and it's like, wow, I don't really understand. I don't believe it's any of those biological factors, at least not all of them. And I do believe my logic overrides some of it, like the fertility aspect. One part of it is, one reason why women prefer larger hips is for childbearing, larger chests is for nursing them. That is biological. I don't prefer it, perhaps because I don't want kids. So, I don't believe the subconscious association with fertility associates with me, or applies to me, sorry. I just used the same word twice. Redundant. Oops. And I don't think I have any positive associations because I can't think of anyone who looks like that. Of course, there is certain traits. I don't want to mention it because it could be misinterpreted, but there are certain things which probably do come from positive association. And then as for the survivability aspect, certain humans, mainly for some reason, I don't recall why, but for even faces, survived more, so we've adapted to know that and, be attracted to even faces. But if they survived more, then why is it that uneven faces have still around and are still the majority? That's kind of strange, isn't it? You'd think that if they're the better surviving face, then they would persist. But guess not. Weird. So, of course, she does have an even face, but come on. Survivability in this day and age. What is this? 2 BC? No. So, yes, this is it's a strange phenomenon. And I tried to think quite a while, really, about why this could be. Why could someone's face be arranged in such a way that it takes away your thoughts, and it makes you tremble, and it makes your heart beat, makes you go cold, it gives you goosebumps, raises your hair, makes you unable to perform typical functions, it brings you into a state of hyper-awareness. Someone who is not comparable to anyone else in terms of beauty because she simply surpasses everyone else. How is that possible? How can this be? It's really stupendous would be one word. Perhaps I could look more into it. Perhaps I will. I won't say I will, because I don't know if I will. No one knows what they will do. I could say, I'm going to touch that bookshelf. But as I go over it, the asteroid crashes into Earth and I immediately die. So I do not know what I'm going to do, really. Of course, I just fulfill the prophecy, of course. Gotta do what I thought I would do. But, yes, I don't understand, really. Why? Why? I ask why a lot. Asking why is good. Of course, there's many questions to ask, and I believe asking questions for the sake of getting answers is a very, very good thing, and you should always question things. Because, how did I word it? I don't know, let me look at my thoughts document real quick. I think I kept it in here. Let's see. Question, the more you know, what was it? I don't recall the terminology I used. Let's see, there's just, no, not there. I don't think I got rid of it. So, but it was something to the effect of, let me think, I forgot. I have entirely forgot. It was something like with questions you have answers, and with answers you question them, something like that, but it actually made sense and used words that actually, meant something. But I forgot what they were, so that is unfortunate. Perhaps it wasn't actually that good of wording, which is why I removed it from the thoughts document. Oh, getting close. 1 minute away. Punishable by fines and federal imprisonment. I feel like doing a cartwheel. One-headed cartwheel. I did a cartwheel. If you could look into my eye. Oh, actually, that hurts a lot of things because I've been doing a bunch of strange calisthenics moves today. So, it wasn't very fun. Though, I did discover, I know if you jump with your arms wide out and then pull them in as you midair, you can spin quite fast. But then I realized you could also include your legs. If you bring your legs out and then close everything in, you spin super fast. Like, here's an example. Okay, so it's gonna be hard to balance this, but okay, Jesus. It's very hard to land it as well, because I only did it with one leg. 2 legs is quite difficult, and I'd prefer to do it with this not all around me. On a more flat surface, like at the gym, I'll try it. Because, with both legs out, you bring them in, then they get crossed up, and then you're like, oh my god, and then you fall down, and you die. So, keeping one leg to stabilize you as you crumble down is advisable, by me at least. Now, I'm no doctor, but I would advise it. Now watch. I did not watch all 23 minutes and 10 seconds of this, but I will answer these. False. True. No, true. Yep. Pay attention. medication prescribed is safe. Boom. So there's a 23-minute timer on that. I didn't watch it, and it's still about drinking. Goodness gracious. I'm not gonna drink, brother. And I'm not gonna drive a manual. I'm not gonna drive a motorcycle, and I'm not a female. So stop teaching me about those things. And keep fervent in your love, people. Whatever that means. Let's learn, because learning is good. Fervent, having or displaying passionate intensity. I thought it was similar to that. What was the other thing I wanted to learn? Oh yes. Why do air molecules float? See, if you type like I do, with both hands doing that, you're much better at typing with one hand, because you're not doing the home row thing, and then you have to like, it was called hunt and peck. There's a lot of weird names for it. I call it typing the way I want to. Haha. They're constantly moving and colliding with each other. Oh, right. Related to the concept of buoyancy. Right, that explains it. And, what was the other thing I wanted to know? Oh, yes, why is pure... See, if you stuck around and you actually wanted to learn this, then now you get to without having to look at yourself. Good for you. Why is pure oxygen toxic? Alright, I do not know. It is related to radicals, and honestly, the radical left and the radical right are very bad political things, so, I don't deal with radicals. Even if they are radical, dude, I don't know what symbol you would use. That one, radical, who knows? I use this symbol. I like live long and prosper. There are a couple other symbols that people don't use. Like, you could use that. That's not a symbol, I don't think. Maybe in sign language. Or like that, which is like the opposite of live long and prosper. My dad can transfer between these two very fast. It is very complicated for me to... I can't do it. Rage. I shall strike upon the masses. Why have you abandoned me, God? I'm basically imitating David there, because David is very, he's like that. Wow. I swear, every night, my walk and talks get more and more long. Let's go to my channel and see the trend between the past talk and talks. So, ignore the gap, but look at that, goodness me. 17, 37, 39, 28, 951, standard one, 28, and now this one. I don't know if there is a longer one than this. What did you do? Walk and talks. Now I know there was no long walk and talks for a while, so let's start at the end. So, longest 39, 31. I don't know. Oh, 35 comes close. Is this the new record? 30, 30. Yes, we indeed have a new walk and talk length record, 26. It's a pretty long one for its time. 12 and 14, 19. You see, these used to be considered long ones for me. When they got around 20, I was in standard. 14 was even considered long, really. Anything to 10 past was kind of longer than standard. For gore, yes, I got that one. 10, 21, 11, 11. You see, one thing weird about rounding is it shows ones at the end, but really, it rounds to 0. And I try to make it a round number. I've always done that, even in the walk and talks that were voice memos on the iPhone, not even videos. Though, unfortunately, I do mess that up. I believe some recent ones too, yeah. See, 42, that means it rounds. It's actually 41, so I almost messed up. Some are too early, some are too late. Typically, it's too late. See, 52, 02, there's 2 in a row, unfortunately. I don't think I make that many mistakes. Let's try to find a 0. One where I ended it a little too early. There's a 2, 2, 2, 2. More frequent than I thought it was. 2, two in a row. Two, do another 2 in a row. Two. Oh my goodness, had a terrible week there. Let's see. Getting back. You're under halfway through. Can we find one? I know I've ended some early. Come on. 0. Yes, the one on kids with a lovely thumbnail. With my dog at the top of the staircase. You can't see it. I can't really even see it either. Good walk and talk. I think it's in the useful walk and talk section, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's go to my manage videos, YouTube Creator Studio, kids. Alright, kids. So, yeah, so to Dr. C. Nope, not on these walk and talks. Alright. Still a decent walk and talk to listen to. With a messed up ending. But this most definitely takes the cake for one of the longest. Oops, skip. So yeah, probably will hold the longest. What is that? Looks like she's peeing on the car. What is she doing there? Focus. There you go. That is a... I suppose she's supposed to be locked up against the car, but the car looks abandoned. And she... Oh, is she breaking into it? I think that's what she's doing, but it's hard to tell. That's weird. Anyways, yes, this will definitely take the cake for the longest walk and talks for a while. I hope you enjoyed. God bless you, and as always, adios. Bye.